Let's talk about something most of us would rather not think about, plane crashes. But what if almost everything we assume about them is wrong? In this explainer, we're going to dig into the real data and the simple things you can do that can completely change the outcome.
Look, the idea of a plane crash is scary. It's one of our most common fears for a reason. But here's the thing that might surprise you. Contrary to what we see in the movies, you're not helpless. Your actions can make a massive, life-saving difference.
So let's just get right to it. If you were in a plane crash, what do you think your chances of survival actually are? Seriously, take a second. Think of a percentage. I'm willing to bet the real number is going to blow your mind.
There it is, 95.7%. That's not a typo. A huge study by U.S. safety investigators found that the survival rate is that high. And you know what? That one number changes everything. This isn't a conversation about fear anymore. It's a conversation about preparation.
So here's our flight plan for today. We'll start with that incredible survival stat, then walk through your pre-flight checklist, what to do once you're on the plane, how to brace for an impact, and we'll finish with something called the golden 90 seconds. Let's just spend another moment on that 95.7% because it's so important. And we're not just talking about minor incidents here. The NTSB looked at the most serious accidents, crashes with fire, with major damage, and even then, more than 76% of people survived. The takeaway is simple. Most plane crashes are survivable, period.
Okay, so if the odds are already that good, how can you push them even further in your favor? Well, your survival strategy actually starts way before you get to the airport. It starts with choices you make right now.
And what's great is how simple these things are. First up, book direct flights whenever you can. Why? Because you're cutting down on the number of takeoffs and landings, and that's where most accidents happen. Second, bigger planes are generally better. Anything with over 30 seats has to meet much stricter safety rules. Third, and this is a big one, what you wear matters. Natural fibers like cotton or wool are less flammable than synthetics. And for goodness sakes, wear sturdy, closed-toed shoes. Trust me, you do not want to be trying to get through a damaged cabin in flip-flops.
All right, so you've made it onto the plane. Now your job is to switch on your situational awareness. This isn't about being anxious. It's just about being smart and prepared.
You need to know about the +3 -8 rule. It's this critical 11-minute window where about 80% of all crashes happen. That's the first 3 minutes after takeoff and the last 8 minutes before you land. So what does that mean for you? It means during those times, keep your headphones off, keep your shoes on, and just be aware of what's happening.
And believe it or not, your seat choice can actually give you an edge. A study looked at this and found that folks in aisle seats had a 64% survival rate, while those by the window were at 58%. The reason is pretty obvious when you think about it. You can get to an exit way faster.
So, let's put it all together. Where is the absolute safest place to sit? Well, the data shows a clear sweet spot. One study found that people in the back of the plane were 40% more likely to survive. So for your best odds, you're going to want an aisle seat in the rear of the plane and somewhere within 5 to 7 rows of an exit.
Okay, I know, we've all heard the safety briefing a million times and we tune it out. But this is, without a doubt, the single most important thing you can do on any flight. Listen to it. And then do this one simple thing. Count the number of rows between your seat and the nearest exit in front of you, and then the one behind you. Why? Because if that cabin fills with smoke and you can't see a thing, you can feel your way out by counting the seat backs. It's that simple.
All right, now we have to talk about the moment of impact itself. What you do in these few seconds is absolutely crucial.
So there are 2 standard brace positions. If you've got a seat in front of you, you're going to cross your hands on that seat back and rest your forehead right on top of your hands. If you're in a bulkhead row with no seat in front, you bend all the way over, put your head between your knees, and grab your ankles. For both, keep your feet flat on the floor and tucked back. And always glance at that safety card in your seat pocket, just to be sure.
We've all heard secure your own mask first, but do you know why it's so critical? At high altitude, if the cabin loses pressure, you have only about 15 seconds, that's it, of useful consciousness before you pass out. If you try to help someone else first, you'll go unconscious, and then you're no help to anybody. So your mask on, tight, then help others.
Okay, the plane is on the ground. The impact is over. You think the worst is done, right? Well, the most dangerous part might be just beginning. This is where all that preparation really comes into play.
This is a really critical point. After a crash happens, the #1 threat is usually not the impact itself. It's the fire and the incredibly toxic smoke that can fill the cabin in seconds. Your only priority has to be getting out. Fast.
This number right here could be the difference between life and death. 90. You have 90 seconds.
In the aviation world, they call it golden time. It's that critical 90-second window after a crash when you can actually get out. After that, fire and smoke can engulf the cabin, making escape pretty much impossible. Every single second counts.
So here's your action plan. Move fast. If you see smoke, get down low. The breathable air is going to be near the floor. Listen to the flight attendants. They are trained for this, and their commands will save lives. Before you open an exit, look through the window to make sure there isn't a fire right outside. And I absolutely cannot say this strongly enough. Leave your bags behind. Do not waste a single precious second trying to grab your stuff. It slows everyone down and puts everyone's life in danger. So you're out. You're not safe yet. You need to get away from the plane, and fast. Get at least 500 feet away. That's about 1.5 football fields. And try to move upwind, so any smoke is blowing away from you, not towards you. You have to worry about explosions or the fire spreading.
So let's bring it all home. Here's the bottom line. Your chances of surviving a plane crash are already incredibly high. But by just being a little prepared, by staying aware, and by having a plan, you can take control of the situation and make those high odds even better. It really just comes down to turning that feeling of fear into one of focus. Now that you know you have some control, that your choices really matter, from your shoes to your seat, how will you prepare for your next flight?